Hey everyone, Andy Hall, Dr. Kennard, Edible Atheist, and Glenn, the International Man of Mystery over there. Such an august panel.
I thought you might enjoy that.
So, yeah, and thank you, Sammy, for linking in case anyone does want to pop on in the panel, Sammy put the link up there. So, easy access.
Yeah, I couldn't get your description to come
Describe?
up.
Really, huh?
Yes.
That's odd.
And it says, here's the link, and then there's nothing else.
Yeah, must be Andy Hall. Must be that voodoo I do.
Let's see.
So it was almost bedtime for you, Mr. Atheist?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably past what should be my bedtime.
Yeah, dude, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning for you, isn't it?
Midnight.
Midnight.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yep.
That's commitment.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't go to sleep till.
Or sleep
Well,
disorder, or both.
Well, I'm blaming you, Andy.
Well, I'm used to being blamed for many things, so I'm okay with that in my heart.
You're just the current excuse.
I'm just the current excuse.
What the other 20 odd years of my insomnia was caused by, who knows? But
yeah, I hear you. What's up, Rage?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Not much.
hey, Rage.
You know, I had a psychology professor that said that he could diagnose someone within 5 minutes of talking to him. Now, this is just diagnosing in terms. I would say that I could, and I said this before, is that I can tell how much marijuana THC is in Rage's system probably within the first minutes.
Yeah, I'm about to put some more into. Like, I've been talking to these crazy people through. They're like Christians through Khalil Allah in this Facebook chat room, and man, these dudes are insane.
Dude, send me a link to the room. If I could check that out, I'd be curious.
I don't think I can. I think it's got to be this Jesse guy. But if I get in there later, I'll see if we can't add you in there.
Yeah,
man, it's fucking nuts, dude. Like, you know, I had a conversation. I pretty much pointed out some of these people's trans bigotries last night, and then as I put in the side chat, they're talking about how the media has been prepping us for some big habeas corpus release, and everybody that's been convicted by the media over the last year is going to be released, or charges are going to be dropped. And I'm like, Bill Cosby was the first, and I'm like, you guys need to stop drinking so much damn coffee.
Yeah, it's because it was the media that choked that put the knee on some guy's neck for 8.5 minutes. It wasn't
Chauvin. Yeah.
Well, about him, they're saying, well, there's no way he could have gotten a fair trial. Blah blah. I saw some dude the other day. It was like, you know, it's never been proven that Derek Chauvin did what he did because he's racist. And I'm like, we have 9 minutes of video. That's a lot of evidence, you know.
Well, he did. To put it bluntly, he did get a fair trial. He's white and he's a man. He got a fair trial. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, these Christian conservatives, man, they're just cray, dude. They don't live in the same reality.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Rage? Do you think that they're do they actually believe it, or are they just saying it just to say it?
I think one of them at least believes the shit. Like, just, but I talked to him last night. He doesn't seem, you know, like the brightest apple in the bunch. You know.
Well, you know, it's oftentimes the loudest who are the least smart.
Yeah, I mean, it's like even Khalil Allah was just like, man, you guys. I think he was like, eventually he was like, I just got to get out of here. I can't take this shit tonight.
Yeah. What's up, Tobin? What's up, Kendra?
Hey.
G'day, guys.
So, Sammy, what's going on with your internet? You didn't even say anything too controversial. It just kicked you off?
I may have closed the window.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Possibly.
I have a policy when I'm doing this stream is that I keep my hands away from the computer unless it's absolutely necessary. Otherwise, my hands are down here, one firmly on the coffee.
One firmly on the coffee.
What's the other one doing, Andy?
I'm doing a Tubin, whatever that CNN consultant guy. You know, the girlfriend and I, we were watching CNN yesterday. It's like, is that guy who pulled his dick out and jacked off and got fired from the Times? It's like, my God, that is that dude. Well, it was from the Post, I think. And now he's back on CNN again. It's like, don't you get fired for that? Isn't that something you get
More
fired
to
from?
the point, how do you show your face?
Yeah, dude, talk about shamelessness. And, you know, he had a written comment. So, of course, we searched it. We did a quick Google search to see if it's the same dude. And it's like, it's the same dude. And he's like, I think I was treated harshly. It's like you had it out.
I didn't even hear about that. You're talking about Jeffrey Toobin?
Yeah, dude, he's back on CNN. We were watching CNN yesterday at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. No, it was after I got home from work. So it had to have been after 5:30 or so. And it's like my girlfriend was paying more attention because I'm preparing for the show today. She's paying much more attention to it. And she'd go, is that Toobin guy? The guy who like did the thing with his thing? And it's like, no, that can't be him. And then yes, it is. It was totally him.
I forget what exactly was the story. Was he on air and he at
he was
home?
on a Zoom. He was on a Zoom meeting and he whipped it out and he decided to pleasure himself and he got caught. He got red-handed.
Yeah.
Was the story though that he thought the camera was off, or did he know everyone was watching?
No, the official story is that he wasn't aware that he was being. Maybe his camera was. Maybe he hit his table and Tobin's like, I'm not buying this whatsoever. I see the skeptical look.
Yeah, it shows you when you're like live.
Yeah.
Well, there was the same thing with the Canadian politician that apparently he didn't know if it was. He says he didn't. He thought he'd logged off and he was walking around naked in a Zoom call.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that, but I don't know. I've never been in the middle of a conversation and just had this urge to start jacking it.
Well, I was going to say, Rage, I was going to say, it begs the question, who either one made him want to jack off, or two, who was he jacking off to?
Well, you know, you raise an interesting question, Oedipal Atheist, because that was my question too. It's like, so he's on a Zoom call with people and he's working it. And it's like, is it from, does he have his,
and then he's working it.
and, you know, does he have his phone in the other hand while he's on the Zoom call? Or is he looking at someone on this? Oh, it's creepy. Just creepy
He's a
stuff.
multitasker.
A multitasker. Why isn't he still fired? Why are they back on? Why is he back on?
Maybe he had the surgery to have a third arm so that he could look at his phone, do something else, and do that as well.
Maybe.
Or maybe he's just an alien and he already has 4 arms. We don't know.
You know, usually when you get jobs at big media corporations like CNN or MSNBC, it's not really through any journalistic work or putting in time doing. It's pretty much connections and who you know, if you're in the right spot at the right time. So he probably has connections that, he played that Smokey Saint card. Give it enough time, people will get over just about anything.
Yeah. And then, the person who mentions the fact, hey, here's that guy who did that thing. You're considered to be the bad guy, the bad person, because you keep bringing up the past. It's like, yeah, but you see, what he did was really wrong.
And it makes me wonder, how the hell did that not happen with Trump? Like, how did we not get more Trump stand up, no pants on moments and things like that?
Well, because according to the porn star, it looks like a mushroom out of Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, you would have to have a stunt phallus to tell you the truth.
Have you seen that footage where they say there's something weird about Trump's pants? They look like
I saw that.
puffy. I reckon he has a fan in them.
A fan
So that,
for
yeah.
cooling, for
Yeah.
cooling purposes.
So they look like fucking balloons. It's bizarre.
Well,
Yeah.
You see, he's
If
cheap.
you
So,
haven't
he, so,
seen
he,
it,
so
you need
he's
to
cheap.
see
So he
it.
doesn't have a puffer like the porn stars does. He just uses
fluffer.
a fan.
A
A
fluffer.
fluffer, yeah. But like the porn stars, so he just uses a fan.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
he's about to be bankrupt again. So
Oh, well, that's just legal shit because he'll still hoard cash and all he has to do is to build another building and not pay the contractor, which will make him millions. Like he always does.
What'll happen is that he'll just figure out a way to fleece his base again, right? Because at least 20% of the country is willing to give this guy money and votes, hand over fist.
And I think the Venn diagram of these people giving money to Joel Osteen or Creflo Dollar and the people that give money to Donald Trump they're right in the middle.
Yeah.
I need to look into how true this is, but I heard that seven times. Every millionaire, it averages out that every millionaire will go bankrupt at least 7 times.
Wow. Well, the system does kind of incentivize risk taking, right? Especially if you're like young. Well, if you're young, the motto is it's best to declare bankruptcy before you're 30 if you're going to do it at all.
Well, and what that says to me is that there's something wrong with bankruptcy, that corporations can just fold or they change directors.
Yeah.
And
I face real consequences if we run out of money. That's what happens. Like, yeah, why don't those people suffer those same consequences? I don't know. It blows my mind.
Well, because the system is rigged for the rich people and the entrepreneurs, the people that are willing to take a risk, because what a risk is, if the worst case scenario, you just declare bankruptcy and change company name, because you declare bankruptcy. If you're smart, you're already incorporated, so you're not actually declaring personal bankruptcy. It's just business bankruptcy. So
So what you're saying, Glenn, is that I should incorporate myself and own everything, and have my corporation own everything.
Yeah.
Then I can have the corporation declare bankruptcy. Like,
can I be the CEO?
Oh, yeah, you're up. You're there.
Right. I'll take the CFO. I'll take the CFO post, and
Sure. I'd throw out all the C-suites right here.
Yeah.
I'm happy with just like a mid-level manager. I don't want to work too hard.
Sammy, when the feds eventually come and break down the door, you'll be like, plausible deniability. I was not one of those C-suite people. You can see it right here.
He's up there. I'll take you.
Right.
To quote a famous organization, I was just following orders.
Right. Sure. Things happened. Things occurred, but
yeah. Yeah.
So does anyone have anything exciting going on for the weekend?
I'll work tomorrow and then today and tomorrow, and then go camping again. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Going. The last week was 3.5 hours. So it's like 3.25 hours away. So.
I'm going to be co-hosting an open room tonight. That's pretty much destined to be a dumpster fire. I'll be disappointed if half the people don't show up, but there's supposed to be a lot of people coming, and it's going to be just a crazy time.
Who do you expect to be on?
It's on Germania's channel tonight at 5. I'm going to go live after this and kind of talk about it a little bit and show some crazy stuff, but we're expecting Praise to be there, and there's been a big back and forth between me and him recently. And then I expect probably Smokey and Will Kincaid will show up. John Maddox will probably show up. And Brett Keane will probably show up.
Well, mental health counselors will be available.
Me.
What's that?
Right. Oh, I just said, fuck me. I don't know how Rage does it. Honestly, Rage. Like,
are you a masochist, Rage?
For punishment.
I agree.
If he says anything other than no, he's a liar.
Well, the thing is about, people fall into general, I think, types. I mean, Rage is much more of a brawler than I am. I'm more of I'm going to make fun of you.
I like to fight, man.
Yeah. Rage likes to get into the middle of it, while I write blog posts about Jordan Peterson, and make snarky comments on my YouTube channel. Smart ones, funny ones, mind you. But yeah, Rage just likes to get in there and brawl.
See,
yeah, I mean, there's always a possibility that none of them will show up. But I mean, like Gur seems to be drawing some interesting conversations. I'm going to be showing something that he had happened on his stream last night with this flat earther incel. It was insane. I mean, imagine a flat earther and an incel in the same human being.
That's why I have to say, Rage, you are the most patient rager that I know. Because I too love to fight, but you stick me with someone like Smokey Saint, and I'm gonna explode. Like I do sometimes just fucking explode with everything I have in 5 minutes and be done. Like my patience, my stupidity tolerance is not great like yours.
Go ahead.
You see, my issue when I see a lot of these idiots on Facebook groups, and like especially because there's a couple that where they'll leave their comments open, and like one of the groups is theists say the craziest things, or no conservative Facebooks are not removing your posts and shit like that. And I'll go on and I'll just go, oh my God, and I'll just make fun of them. And especially when someone says praise God and all stuff, I'll just go, hail Satan, and then just leave. and then these people are saying things, and I go, wow, like this stupidity. And then some guy goes, yo mama. I go, wow, you're like really you're the family jokester. I put them down because I can't literally have a rational conversation. I can have a rational conversation with a conservative if they're living on planet Earth. But most of these people have gone so far down the rabbit hole.
It's like I'm interested in what makes them think all these crazy things, or how they get there. What is the ontology of it? It's like I want to understand your insanity and how you can live in such a different reality from the reality that I experience on a day-to-day basis. Because it's 100%, or it's like a 360-degree turnaround. It's like just completely opposite.
Yeah. Well, there was this thing that this guy like he said talked about. I said, yeah, Trump lost, get over it. Fuck your feelings, because that's exactly what Trump fans said 4 years ago, or 5 years ago now. Sorry, I should say. And I said, and he said, oh, you believe? And I go, show me credible evidence. And he linked me to this far right thing hosted by the My Pillow guy. Yeah, that's credible. And this guy showing that how these, it's almost like, I think it was that Italian space lasers changing votes. And I'm going, and you know what? At that point, I go, I could continue this conversation and waste valuable whatever I have left of brain cells, or I could just block the guy. And I chose to block him because, frankly, I will not and cannot lower myself to actually debate morons like that. And then a couple days later,
oh, my bad.
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds. And then a couple days later, these people were commenting and go, really? And they even said, because I blocked the guy, but I could see the other people's comments. They go, wow, I'm now convinced. This is so credible information. By completely mocking him. I couldn't go any longer just because I would have called him an idiot. I would have lowered myself to his moronic level, So, sorry.
What were you going to say, Robin?
It's wild since I started using social media here just recently. Someone from my past actually has contacted me, and it's wild because they are Christian, and they said I like talking about theology and philosophy and stuff more than I like watching sports. So it's we've had one phone conversation since we started talking again, like through emails, but it's wild, and I'm anticipating. I think some more people are definitely gonna come out from my past and probably go, "Hey, what are you doing? You're what now?"
Are they J Dubs?
No, this guy is not a J Dub. No, I didn't even expect this person to even be a Christian, really.
Oh, so this is what I find interesting when people change their opinions, right?
Yeah.
So he wasn't religious when you knew him
Right.
back in the day, but he became religious.
Yeah, like we knew each other back when we were like teenagers, and really, I don't even remember talking any type of religion with them or anything like that. As kids, I don't think we really discussed anything about it, but he is one now for sure.
Yeah.
It makes me realize I've lost quite a few friends and some best friends to Jesus.
Oh yeah, pretty much everybody I know doesn't like me because I don't believe in Jesus.
Well, I don't like you, regardless of that. To tell you the truth,
has anyone?
But like all my old friends, my family and shit, like none of them like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, he makes me think too much in my brain.
I had something really cool happen the other day.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to share because it was exciting because I don't have any like atheist friends besides y'all, and anybody that I have on Facebook is only atheist. I don't have anybody else on there except for atheists. And I confided in one of my friends the other day because everybody I work with is really, really religious. So I feel like I have to hide who I am and stuff like that. And I'm tired of not being able to talk to anybody about anything. And so the other day I actually confided into my girlfriend. I was like, hey, I really need to tell you something because she's been asking to be on my Facebook, but I was like, because there's a lot of shit on there that I don't want her to see, And finally I was like, fuck it. I was like, hey, I got something to tell you. I'm an atheist, like flat out. Like I'm an atheist. My kids are atheists. My whole family, like we all are. Like I don't believe in the shit. And she actually like is an atheist too. And we started dying laughing and we're like, what? Holy shit, you are? Oh, like we were like, it feels so good. Like we had no idea. I've known her for years. Yeah. And like we had been hiding it from one another and just had no idea. But I kept little hints like, because she saw me being full of shit one day. This customer was talking to me and really wanting me to go to their church. And I'm smiling and nodding. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. And then she was listening. She turned around and looked at me. She's like, yeah, Kendra, so you're going to church, huh? And I was like, fuck no. And we started laughing. Like little things like that I kept picking up on hints. So I finally confronted her, and she actually was an atheist. I'm so excited.
Tell me if I'm wrong on this, but there should be some kind of secret sign, right?
Yeah.
That you can share with people. Because I was in a fraternity when I was I was coerced into it somewhat. But I was in fraternity in college, and there is literally a secret sign that you can flash that other people in the fraternity would recognize you as a brother. And so why isn't there something like that for atheism?
We need
that. Seriously.
Absolutely.
That would be
some
so
sort of
cool.
A symbol.
Yeah.
I think I gotta ask a question. It seems like
before you do, I'm next.
Okay.
Because you made me think of something, Taven. It doesn't sound like you have had any pop out, but when COVID hit, I had all these old JW people come out of the blue and message me or find me on Facebook, and I got all these messages about, it's the time of the end, Sam. This is it. It's getting closer. It's going to happen. Jehovah will take you back. He'll forgive anything you've done. My mum just doubled down. Like, I can't see my mum without her guilt tripping me and bringing up the religion and shit. I can't just have a relationship with my mum. Like, it's all about that.
Yeah.
you know. And I just wondered if anyone else had their families use the COVID thing.
To use the COVID thing. Now that's interesting.
None of my family's really that religious, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah,
you know, I have cousins that are like I said before, my cousin's a preacher, but he doesn't like throw it on you, like force it on you. And the rest of my mom and dad have. I think the only time they ever go to church or synagogue is marriage or death. So you know.
What about you, Rage? Because you got it. You got COVID, and you got family stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was never like end of the world stuff, so to speak. But it was, you know, kind of like God punishing the world, and maybe I should kind of stop, you know, just stop doing what I do and come back to the family and focus on a career and blah blah blah. So I mean, it was kind of similar, but it was never like, you know, the world's about to end. You better find Jesus. It was more subtly trying to get me to stop doing YouTube. They all hate it.
Oh yeah.
So that just reaffirms that they are a death cult. They're a doomsday cult.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, you know, I'm about to go see my biological mom in not this weekend, but the weekend after that, and we haven't had any time to sit down, just the two of us together. And you know, she's Facebook friends with me, and so she's seen it. You know, there's no way that she has not seen this right here. And so I think we're going to have a conversation at some point about it.
Do you know her standing?
She's religious. She named my brothers and my sister biblical names. And my one thing that I have in my ACE card, my ACE card in the back of my pocket is that, well, you gave me up for adoption, so you can't say anything to me.
It's your fault.
Your fault. Right. And in case you're watching, Mom, it's not your fault. All right, just you don't have to.
Yeah. I love you, Mom.
Love you. Right.
Like I was saying, with especially in the US, is it more tougher to come out as an atheist than gay? Like it sounds like it in certain parts.
I think it's really where you live, but you know, I've still to this day never woken up afraid for my life because I'm an atheist. So I think it's probably definitely harder for a gay person.
Yeah.
I think you'd find like fundamentalists, like extreme ones, would say God can forgive homosexuality, but being an atheist is sinning against His Holy Spirit. It's denying Him, and that's the unforgivable sin.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's a fucking narcissist.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh my God, that is hilarious.
There's actually a video.
You just realized?
The comment down there about Jesus' favorite exercise is CrossFit.
Yeah. There's actually a video out by a comedy troupe, and the comedian has a cross strapped to his back and exercising. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus goes up to the innkeeper, throws 3 nails on the counter, says, "Will you put me up for the night?"
Yeah.
You see, my favorite one is my favorite one is who's had the shittiest Easter, and then you just do the pose like of Jesus on the cross. That was my favorite.
You know, my buddy that had just reconnected with me here recently, he actually asked me, you know, what would it take for me to think Jesus was a real being? And I answered him with it, if he would have taken all the beatings and all that shit and they nailed him up to the cross and then he ripped himself down from the cross and then continued living, and we can go and hang out with Jesus.
Yeah.
And if y'all all want to go meet up with him, we can go jump on a plane and go meet him down in Brazil. I hear he's over there.
Right.
Go have some coffee with him.
Well,
yeah.
It's an interesting question about what proof you need for God to exist. And Stax Roach, who's an author, an advocate, he's been on the channel before. He just wrote a book a little while ago. And he said, well, you know, God knows what evidence I would need. So if God knows what evidence I need to believe in Him, why doesn't God furnish this?
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
I have an answer to that, Andy.
Oh, please go.
This was part of my indoctrination. The reason being is that God knows there is nothing that would convince me, because he could appear and I would just think, I finally cracked it, lock me up. There's nothing.
I think that
even him appearing would not convince me.
Well, that's a pretty limited God then. If that's a God that can do miracles, that's a pretty limited God.
Yeah.
And exactly, he would have to somehow change my awareness, in which case it's, the whole free will thing. Right. Do I believe in him or
right?
So,
well, the thing is, this is
that was it.
Okay, because a lot of people say it's like, if you tell them you're an atheist, they go, "Oh, you don't believe in God." I go, "No, we just don't. You just can't prove to us that he exists." And it's more about proof and than anything else. It's that's why we believe scientists over, like, that when a scientist tells us that COVID's real and some mega preacher says, "I've just cast out COVID," we tend to believe the scientist because, we believe evidence as opposed to faith. And
I think because of things like what I just said, they think that we would never, or incapable of it. But I don't know a single atheist that wouldn't believe in a God if they had the proof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I still think the funniest thing on the other side, on the religious side, is goes, "Oh, all these atheists are just Satan worshippers." Go, yeah, because Satan is just as believable as God. So yeah, that argument falls flat.
They don't understand Satanism. Is that some Satanists are atheists, many Satanists are atheists, but not all the atheists are Satanists.
Yeah,
but under the religious thinking, you could make an argument that anyone who isn't a follower of Christ is an antichrist.
Yeah, well, that's what they think. They think Satan is pulling our strings. So even if we don't physically or vocally worship Satan, we are followers of Satan. We are the instruments and tools of Satan.
Yeah,
I just
we're
want to
part
say,
of his system.
Dragons in Genesis says the entire army of Spartacus, the slave army, was crucified and they stayed dead, and they were fighting against slavery. Much better sacrifice. # all crucifixions matter. Well said, Dragon. So my theory. All right. So I've been working on this whole gang sign, this whole secret symbol for atheists for a while, and I think American Sign Language, and I am being American centric here, right? Because I know our sign language is different, around the world. But this is the D. This is how you do D for doubt, the letter D. And this is what I always thought. And now the thing is, this would also look like it's a white supremacist sign right now, too.
Yeah.
So that's a horrible idea. This is a horrible idea. It worked out really well 10 years ago when I thought about it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
It's really also the Illuminati.
Yeah.
It's also 666. So it's been done too much. We need some sort of like.
I really wish there was some kind of way to signal, though. I really wish, because we would have been talking about this shit a long time ago. Like, I did a double whammy too, because I was like, I'm a bisexual atheist, and she took me for who I was and didn't give a shit. And I wish that we could have talked about it a lot sooner, because when I'm at work, especially Sundays are really hard, because I get every churchgoer in town. I get all the preachers. I get everybody coming in, and I have to hold a lot of shit in all day long, and it's really nice to know that we could actually confide in each other. It'll help me throughout my day. Definitely. I just wish there was a way we could have said something without saying something.
I think I would pop off if I had to deal with a church set all day. I don't think I could hold it. I don't think I have that kind of fortitude.
Well, before I moved, when I just moved back to Canada, my parents moved into a relatively small town, 20,000 people. And it's very. We always made the joke, if you see one black person in that day, that's an accomplishment, because it's still a very small town. It's starting to become more diverse, but it's that, and very people are conservative, so they are a little more religious. And you'd think it's actually within, I think, say 10 minutes is at least 5 churches. So. Not one synagogue, not one mosque, but 5 churches.
That's
Sammy, were you saying that you're voting for the A? This would be your
something like that. I was experimenting. Is that the right way?
You look like you're doing a Tobin there.
That's like a little A. If you see my little finger there,
isn't A?
But
wait, A, yeah,
A is like a
B,
closed
C,
fist,
D.
isn't it?
what's
Yeah,
the
so
sign?
A. Yeah.
With the knuckle or?
Don't you put your like that, right?
I'm checking it
I-
out. Right
You
now.
know, it's been a while since I've
A,
looked at
B,
that kind of stuff.
I'm trying to remember.
You know what we could do? We could like do it in
So this
code.
is
Like
A.
we could.
This is A in American Sign Language right here.
Just the fist.
Yeah, but the thumb has to be
But
up,
you got your little thumb, like
and you
that,
can't
right?
curl. You can't curl the fingers. The fingers have to be down.
Actually, like
So,
that.
right here. The fingers are down. The thumb is up.
Am I doing it?
I think you're still curling your fingers a bit. You got to have your flat of your fingers down. So that's right. Excuse me.
Which would work because the unknowing person would just think you're like, fist bump.
Right. Well, that's
But
good. That's right.
The knowing person would be like,
You see,
fellow
you could.
atheist.
You see, you could use a comedic thing on it and do it with a Canadian twist, which because apparently all Canadians say "a" at the end of every sentence. So you just go "hey."
Hey.
Right.
Yeah. I think that would work because people wouldn't. Most people would go, "Oh yeah, he's just Canadian," or the other people, but the atheists would know what you're talking about.
Yes. There was a YouTuber. He's still around. Who is it? And I forget who it is. He was doing the L sign for logic, and
Cult of Dusty.
Cult of Dusty, and that's a little bit too close to that to me. And I think ascribing atheists logic, that seems to be that seems to be a jump, I think, that I'm not willing to take personally. Yeah. So I think the A sign is a far more appropriate. And I would have gone with doubt too if it wasn't for the white supremacists, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
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 Cult of Dusty, is he still active, Rage?
It's more hyper leftist political stuff now. The old Cult of Dusty was, oh man, that was classic. I miss it.
Yeah.
If anybody here has, I don't even know if you can still see it. I'm sure it's probably somewhere on his channel. But the Bible in Less Than 10 Minutes series, fucking phenomenal. It was hilarious.
I'll check it out.
Oh man, it was hilarious, dude. It was so funny. It was like the History Channel's Bible. So you remember when the History Channel did that series on the Bible? They had Satan look like Barack Obama and all that shit.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
It's so funny, dude.
And somehow that version of the History Channel is still better than reality show History Channel.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that just tells you how shitty History Channel is now.
Well, didn't History Channel end up having like that porn shop in Vegas, Porn Stars, or something like that, or
Pawn Star, as in PAWN, Pawn.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and to Lee Spanner, like I'm not familiar with Cult of Dusty's new stuff. It's just not like it was before. I actually stopped watching Cult of Dusty when the moment, like the brief moment he went right.
That's A in Australian
because he went right wing for just a brief moment, and then he came back to the sanity. So I haven't really watched him since then.
C.
So what you're saying? I'm sorry, we're now talking about Australian Sign Language. So you're saying that one letter A requires two hands?
Yeah.
Wow.
For two-handed sign language, yeah.
Interesting.
I just looked up what the atheist sign language it is, and it's not going to be something that I can pull off very quickly. It's actually like 5 different moves.
It looks like she just spelled it out. I wonder if she just spelled out atheist. I think she might.
Okay, so let me ask you a question for people who do sign language. Why isn't there just an international sign language where everything's the same?
Well, it should be, because y'all should be just doing American Sign Language, obviously.
and there's a typical American response. Yeah,
that's actually just laziness for me having to learn another sign language. That's all.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah. As am I.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that person's probably spelling out atheism in ASL.
She can do it in 2 seconds.
Sure.
But I was gonna try to do it really
you
quick.
go spell it out, and people are thinking you're like spelling out asshole
I would
or
have
something.
to practice that. That's like some. But yeah, they get to wear their crosses and stuff like that. They can symbolize to each other, in another way.
We could like totally work out a whole system of sign language just for ourselves, so atheists could talk to each other without anybody know what we're saying. Gangbangers do it all the time. They call it stacking, and like they'll tell entire stories about people they've murdered and shit, and nobody will know unless you know those gang signs.
This is ASL for skeptical. I'm watching it right now.
I like that.
I think that's hilarious.
It's either I got my eyes out or I feel like clawing my eyes out right now. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting. Yeah, because I remember talking, and I've told this story before, after a comedy show in Cambridge. This is years ago, and I was telling someone that I'm an atheist because part of my act is just basically telling people I'm an atheist. And she goes, "Well, I've never met an atheist before." It's like, you've met a lot of atheists. You've met a lot of atheists. You just don't know that you've met atheists. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember someone making a joke. I don't know if it was a comedy routine or someone goes, "An agnostic is just an atheist that doesn't have walls."
Yeah. It is so Kendra, I remember you were just saying that you were telling this person that you came out as being bi and atheist at the same time. See,
yeah.
You're much braver than I am, because I would always shuffle things in, right? I like to ease people in. It's like, I was
like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. Well, first I looked at her and I was like, I'm a non-believer, and I waited for her response, and I was like, fuck it. I was like, I'm a bisexual atheist, and so are my kids. Like my kids are not bisexual, but they're atheists, Right. And dude, the response was great. And I turned her. She doesn't know about any of the atheist shows or the atheist networks or anything. And her boyfriend is an atheist as well. And so me and Tobin started like hooking her up with all kinds of stuff. And now she's like hooked. Like, she's like, damn, I had no idea. And I'm like, yeah, we've got a whole network out here that you can be involved in, and so now she's been sitting here watching videos, and yeah, it's exciting.
You're doing the Lord's work over there.
Yeah. And it's great too, because now I looked at her and I was like, now you know why I fucking hate Sundays as much as I do. I have to hold a lot of shit in all day. Like, I'll have people randomly just be like, oh, you're so awesome, and things like that, and then be like, let me pray for you. But those, like, I'm in the middle, I'm really fucking busy, but I'm really nice. Like, I'm a polite person. So I'm, I want to give everybody the time of day, or I try, or at least be polite. And people keep stopping me and be like, let me pray for you. But I'm like, I'm thinking, oh, okay, you're going to like pray for me later, Yeah. But no, they'll stop and like grab my hand and start fucking praying. And it gets me really uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. I'm like, just really awkward, I'm like, I'm fucking stuck right now.
It's not a real possibility in reality, without truly offending people or probably putting yourself out there too much. But if somebody asks if they can pray for you, you should say, sure, if I can pray to Satan for you. And,
oh man!
And see the reactions.
Dude, that's the thing too that gets really difficult, because I have to remember where I'm at, and sometimes shit'll slide out of my mouth and I can't even help it. Like, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I'm trying to hold it in, but it becomes really hard. I'm like, I really want to say shit that I know would be.
Well, here it is. This is what I find, is that I can hold it together for only a set period of time, and then it just starts coming out.
Yeah.
Just, the snark, the witticism, or whatever it is, the insulting language. Yeah.
With me, it's not necessarily about atheism or anything, but it's just is when I start a new job. Okay, Glenn, be quiet, just listen. Within 5 minutes, my big mouth is just like never shutting up, and I just can't help it, and it's I'm lucky enough that I kind of can control what I say, just not how much of it I say.
So my partner will be like, "You promised no road rage today," and I'm like, "It's not road rage; it's fucking idiot rage. I'm raging about idiots on the road, man.
This is justice.
I have to make my daughter wear headphones in the car because, like, the entire the car ride is just fuck. You all suck, Michigan drivers. I mean, I'm screaming. She has to have headphones on. She's not allowed to listen to me in the car.
I got ambushed into a prayer circle one time, and I willingly went into the prayer circle because I was at a reception. The couple had gotten married overseas, and then they came back, and then they were doing this big reception, and so I showed up, and I'm the only white guy there, and I'm having some treats. I'm like having a cup of coffee. I'm having a little treat. And then I hear over, someone on the mic going, "Everyone gather for the prayer circle." And I'm going to myself, well, this is an interesting moral conundrum I'm in, isn't it? I'm either going to be, and she knows I'm an atheist, right? The bride, she knows I'm an atheist. And I'm like, so I'm either going to be that one white guy who decided he didn't want to hold anyone's hand, which really I don't want to hold anyone's hand except for my girlfriend's, or to be part of the group. And I'm going, all right, I'm taking one for the team. I am just going to go into the prayer circle.
Did you just stand there with your coffee going?
Well, I had to pull the trigger really fast because those prayer circles form up like.
You see, it's at that point it goes, just how good is this fucking coffee? Is it worth the prayer circle?
Okay. Well, once again, I felt that I didn't want to be that one white guy at that festivity that decided not to hold hands and be part of the group.
You got to pick your battles.
Andy, I saw this T-shirt and I was going, people in my life this T-shirt's perfect for, and I just realized you're one of them. It goes, I like coffee and like 3 people.
Yeah.
I'm going, that's a T-shirt I'm going to get myself. I'm going to get my former roommate because he's one of those. It's like most of the people that goes, just shut the fuck up. Like, I don't want to hear you. And
there could be a more accurate version of that shirt, though, for someone like myself, would be, I like 3 people after coffee.
That's good. We're good.
Yeah. I was actually at a store when we were camping, and I saw this cup. I wasn't this coffee mug, and I wasn't going to get it, but I go, I just have to get it. It goes, I don't have a bucket list. I have a fucket list, and it's very long. And I like that, so I just had to get it.
Yeah. 3 people and a cat. In Andy's case.
In my case, that is correct. Yeah. That is correct. Oh, here it is. Dragons says, I was asked to say grace at Christmas. Father, Son, Holy Ghost, whoever eats the fastest gets the most.
You do a job so horribly, and, oftentimes people won't ask you to do it again, I have learned that one.
I'd be fucked if somebody asked me to pray. I wouldn't know what to say. I'd be totally fucked. I'd be busted right then and there. I couldn't even play it off at that moment.
Well, it's like, dear God, thanks for this food that I paid for myself. Thanks for not cooking it either. I had to do that as well.
I thought that kid that you showed earlier, Andy, on the show, I have a complaint. That was fucking awesome.
That was good. Yeah.
Well, I recommend you start your prayers with "Oh Great Ra." That goes over well.
Yeah. Well, I've always said the only reason I ever would love to be famous and win an award is so that I can go up at this awards show, and everyone always thanks God and my CV. I would love to go up there. I would just first off like to thank my Lord Savior Satan, who none of this would have been possible, and then just walk off the stage, and then just have everyone go, Okay, well, if they know me, they know that I am a sarcastic motherfucker. But if they don't know me, then I'm just...
If you're worried that that'll get too much of a reaction, you start with, we pray to the goddess.
Pray to the goddess Satan.
Yeah, just the goddess, and watch all the Christians go, it's a pagan.
No, but you want to really piss them off. I would like to thank my Lord Savior, a goddess bisexual Satan, and walk off stage, because that would just piss off like all the religious people. Yeah, I've always said that. I've said that for years. Like being able to accept an award. That and I would love to be the one person. I would love Kanye West to try and interrupt my fucking speech.
I would just wonder about what kind of reward I'd be given. To tell you the truth, I'd be skeptical. I would be skeptical about any kind of. It's like that Groucho Marx quote. I don't want to be part of any organization that would have me as its member. Yeah.
I think churches should hand out like Enemy of the Faith awards.
Oh, that's beautiful, Rage.
That would be awesome. I would totally show up and accept.
Yeah. I would thank God for that.
Yeah. I was. You were saying, Tobin, about if you don't do a job properly, people will stop letting you do that. I've worked in the restaurant industry for a very long time, and trust me, I see a lot of it. And I don't know if it's intentional or just work with people that have the brain capacity of a peanut.
Well, there's a corollary to it. If people see you do something really well, even if it's only one time, there's an assumption that you can do it well all the time, and now you'll be stuck with that particular job, whether or not you're good at it or not, because of that one thing.
Yeah, my issue when I go to work is I actually have work ethic, and I, like take pride in, no matter what I do, I take pride in what I do. I guess that's just that's detriment, not a good thing.
Yeah, I had to quit a company one time. I was just so good at this one particular job that they always stuck me there, and I would watch other people get promoted. I would apply for promotions, and I was told how great I was. They wanted to send me to Japan so I could train the Japanese how I did what I did on these particular machines, and I'm like, it got to the point. It's like, you're gonna keep me here forever. There's like no advancement, so I had to quit.
Yeah. I understand. It's what's surprising, Rage, is that once you told them that you were quitting, that they didn't try to sweeten the deal at all.
Well, they did, but I had already gotten a better job. That was no turning it down, and yeah, I mean, they tried to keep me, but at that point, it was just too late. Like, you had your chance. Like, I was passed over 6 times so I could slave on this machine for you guys. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Do you know that's one of the most satisfying things about being a boss? Is giving people a chance, just being the boss that you never ever had.
Yeah, I think therapists would call that corrective emotional response, corrective emotional experience. That's what that is.
True. And you'll find that it doesn't work out the way you think it will. You do quickly become a boss.
Yeah.
But you never forget. And if you can find that balance, I'm happy, my staff are happy, my clients are happy.
Yeah.
It's just such a positive atmosphere. But yeah, the best feeling I get from this job, besides the job itself, what I do, is the opportunity to employ people. It's so fulfilling.
That's great, dude.
And to actually treat people properly with,
and pay them properly, and know that they aren't driving to work like I used to with my stomach in knots. Like, that's, no one deserves that.
Yeah. Because I've had some since I've worked in the restaurant industry, pretty much a restaurant industry all my life, I've had some really good jobs, but I've had some jobs where it's like you're going to work and you go, I really don't want to go. I've had 2 actually in the last year, and since I've actually moved, I'd say 2 years ago, I've had 2 of them. One of them was I just worked with this woman that just was a complete bitch to me for no reason at all. And I tried to, like, one day she actually got pissed off at me because I walked by one of her tables and cleared the plates up. And she goes, I can do that. I go, well, I'm here. Like, I do it. Like, that's what I do. If I walk by a table that's got plates on, I clear it. It's what anyone in the restaurant industry would do. You never walk by a dirty table if you got your hands free.
Clem, you're just thinking too much.
And no, she actually then goes, I'm sick and tired of your fucking attitude. And I'm going, and her exact words, you stick to your side of the restaurant, I'll stick to mine. I'm going, I fucking helped her. And she was just like, the last shift I ended up working with her before I went on vacation.
Yeah.
I was like driving to work. I'm going, I was like feeling like, I don't get anxiety, but I was feeling, I think, what some people might call mild anxiety, because I was having to work with her.
Yeah.
And I was like, the only word she'd ever say to me, if she ever said anything to me, was just, or rude or stuff like that. And then my other job was I got hired as a server, and when they should never have hired me because they had way too many staff anyway. Right. And I ended up, I don't know if you have it in the US, Boston Pizza. And I ended up getting working there, and then getting 10 hours a week, and I was like, and I wasn't even getting serving shifts. They turned me into delivery driver, and I hated every second of the day. But at least whatever little money I had I was at least having some money going towards paying rent and stuff, you know.
So if you were driving to work with even what people call butterflies in your stomach, that is anxiety. It might have only been a mild case.
Yeah,
but you had anxiety, you know, about your job, and
it's been at least 25 years since I've worked in a kitchen. But I had an anxiety dream last night that I was working in my old job as a short order cook, and I was supposed to slice up the tomatoes, but I couldn't find any tomatoes. And then I woke up just like that.
I have some really fucked up, weird, funny dreams. One is where I'm walking around serving, and the only thing I got in is my serving apron. I'm completely naked except for that.
Wow.
There's that one, and there's the one which I think if you've served, you've probably had this dream at least once, where you're going, why has my table not got food? It's been 3 hours, and you still haven't put their order in.
It's the worst whenever you're dreaming about working, and then you wake up, and then you gotta go to work, and it's just like, I just spent what the
dude. That happened to me the other night. I was having a drink because I am a server. That's what I do. I am a server, and I had a dream that I was in the fucking weeds, and it was just chaotic and shit. And then I woke up and had to fucking go do the shit for real. And I was like, damn, man, I'm already tired. You know, like what the fuck?
Yeah. But my dreams are always
close down the show, everyone. I gotta get ready for work. It's coming up to that time. So if anyone has anything final that they want to talk about or anything they want to plug for the weekend, this is the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, actually, I'll just say have a great weekend, guys. People in the US, if you are going to celebrate July 4th, have a good one. And I'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah, check me out at 11:15. It's going to be fun.
Cool. All right. Later, guys.
Right. Bye. I will see you all later.
Later.
Hey, Rick.